All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Grant. Today, we're going to be doing an MLB tier list based off of who I think is the World Series contenders, who I think probably should go to a rebuild, and some in between there. This season has been very back and forth. No team has really stood out above the rest, other than the obvious two teams at the top. But the AL's weird. The NL's very good, but we're gonna see how good they stay. I don't know. It's a very crazy MLB year, and let's just get right into it. All right, so we're gonna start with the Angels, and let's be honest, we all know where they're gonna go. Right there, maybe next decade. I've got the tiers here. World Series bound, of course. You know what that means. Real threat are the guys that I can definitely see moving up into here by the end of the year. We are doing this on June 24th, by the way. So it's not directly halfway through the season, but we're close. And then a move away. Trade deadline's coming up. These teams need to make a move to stay relevant and get it all figured out. Feisty are the teams that are going to fight each game, and they're going to make these other teams up in these top two tiers or three tiers, sweat a little bit during their games. They can even pull some out. They could move up into here, or they're playing over their expectations, things like that. Maybe next year are the teams that we can all think of off the top of our head that are just having a rough year, but they're not completely full rebuild mode like the maybe next decade tier. So that leads us with the Angels. So the Angels have some guys, Reed Detmers, Jose Soriano. Those guys are formidable. And as you can see here, the Angels are actually down towards the bottom in pitching. This is based off of a whip. It's ranked based off of whip. So they have a 1.42 whip. If you don't know, right at one is, where you want to be, or below one, of course, would be exceptional. So these guys getting as close to one as you can. And then let's look at hitting here. So hitting, this one's based off of OPS. The Angels are actually number 16. So they have a 719 team OPS. So it's not horrible. They're right in the middle of the pack. So their offense has kept them in it. But they do have those two-star pitchers towards the top in Reed Detmers and Jose Soriano that are also very formidable. So while maybe I could see them moving up into here with some moves, I think until they decide what they really want to do with guys like Mike Trout and Joe Adell and those guys, I really think that they're going to stay right here until they can figure something out. We need to pick a direction. Do you want to rebuild, or do you want to stay towards the bottom of the league? So next up is the Houston Astros. So this is another one that's interesting. So in April, I probably would have started putting them down into these two tiers, but they kind of came back a little bit. They've got healthy and they've worked things out. Um, you know, all of these guys are coming back, and Jeremy Pena's been very good. Jordan has been unbelievable, probably the MVP favorite in the AL. I would probably put them right there in the feisty tier. I think they're very good. I think they're going to come out and they're going to fight. And with how weak the AL is, I can see them being a move away. So I'm thinking right in here, might move them up just depending on who else I put in these tiers. So, but anyway, let's get to the next one. The Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are a legit threat. They've had a lot go wrong. Vladdy's not been good so far this year. All they got to do is start clicking. People got to stay healthy, things like that. Springer has been rough, to say the least. Dylan Cease has been exceptional. Louis Varland's been exceptional. I really think that they probably go in this move away. I think if they go out and make a move, I think that's better than sitting where they are. I don't think they're going to be. If they stay where they are, I think they're probably just in this feisty tier, fighting for that last wild card spot. But with how weak the AL is, I think they have to go to that move away tier. All right, next we have the Braves. So the Braves are definitely World Series bound. That team is from top to bottom unbelievable. Let's look at some stats here. So the Atlanta Braves in pitching are fifth in WHIP, and then when you turn that to ERA, let's see where they rank here. Third. So that's pretty sustainable, I would say. Their pitching is very good. Their offense in OPS is seventh. So that's really good. I think if they can go out and make a move, it's only going to help them. but I don't think they need to. I don't think it's a desperate thing where they have to make a move to make the World Series. I think with the team they have constructed right now, they can do it. Um, yeah, so the Brewers are the next one. So before I rank the Brewers, let's look at some stats here. So where do they rank OPS wise? Right around the middle at 14. So just above, right in the middle. 725 OPS for a team, hovering around with the White Sox and the Orioles. That is a little scary as is. I really think um, they need some sluggers. If you look at their home run numbers, if I did this by home run, they're going to be towards the bottom. 68 home runs. The only two teams with less, the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. So the Brewers got to get some sluggers in there. If they don't, then they're gonna struggle down the stretch. I have a feeling. However, their pitching is unbelievable. Right here, 3.35 ERA. Let's judge it by WHIP. I think they're still going to be top two. Yep, 117 WHIP. Obviously, that's off of the back of a guy like Jacob Mizorowski and that incredible bullpen they have. But I mean, you can't fault them for having those guys. So even if they regress a little bit and come down into these spots here, that's still fine. When you're at the top, the only way you can go is down. So if they come down just a little bit, that's okay. So I really think the Brewers are probably in here, but with their offense not having the pop, and we've seen how it works every year, they get into these situations where they play these teams that do have pop and they struggle. So they're relying too heavily on pitching. This might be a hot take. I think they're going to go there until they can get a piece, which honestly, I'm not going to put them here. I think they're better than the Blue Jays by far. That's a very good division. I just think they need pop. So if they can make a move, or if some pop starts showing up, I think they're going to skyrocket into there. Next up is the Cubs. So the Cubs are another interesting one. Let's look at some stats here. So the Cubs and OPS are 740. So that's ranks sixth out of the 30 MLB teams. Pitching wise, this is where they start to struggle. So they come all the way down to 19 in ERA. And then if we did it based off of WHIP, let's see where they go. So they're up to 7 in WHIP. So that's pretty good. That's why I think the Cubs' struggles so far are something that can be fixed. I think they're going to be fine. However, I do think they're probably still a move away. I think they're better than the Blue Jays. Are they better than the Blue Jays? No. No, I don't think so, actually. I think they need a starter, and I think they need maybe a guy like Matt Shaw can go somewhere for a big-name starter. I would love to see them go and try to get Tarek Skubal. I think that would be an unbelievable move for them. It would bolster that starting rotation, take the load off of a guy like Edward Cabrera. And if they can get healthy in that rotation, I'm not sure what the timeline is on the rest of their guys. I know Matt Boyd went down. I'm not sure on all of that, but I think they're a very good team. They just have to put it all together and maybe make a move here and there. I think they're going to be close. They're going to be in that wild card race till the very end. I don't think they're going to catch up with the Brewers, though. All right, the Diamondbacks. So I've done my research on the Diamondbacks a little bit, and I think they go in here, and I think they're behind Houston. So let's look at them here. The Diamondbacks are 18th in ERA, and if we did it based off of WHIP, I have a feeling they're going to be pretty low. 15. So they're still right around the middle of the pack, and in a National League that is very, very good all the way through, I just don't think it's going to work. And then their offense has struggled mightily. I mean, 692 OPS for a team, that's not good. They've only got 69 home runs, which is nice, but not nice. So I really think Arizona has got to make some moves, and I don't know that they can make enough moves this year to put themselves into that wild card race. So I think I have to go right here with Feisty. I think they can come out and they can fight, and you're going to have some good games with them all year. They're probably going to be right outside the wild card picture, towards the bottom of it, fighting for that last wild card spot. I think it's going to be interesting. The Dodgers, we already know where they're going. Back-to-back World Series champs. So the Dodgers are an interesting one. They have the highest OPS out of any team, and they're number 4 in ERA. And they're the favorites to win the Tarek Skubal Chase. So it's going to be hard to beat the Dodgers. I really think so. I mean, where are they in WHIP? Are they 1? Yeah, they're 1. So it's going to be so hard to beat them. I really don't think anybody's going to, unless some team can stun them in the NLCS or something like that. It's going to take a lot. It really is. And if they can stay healthy, that's another thing. Glasnow's not going to be back until towards the end of the year, from what I heard. So, it's going to be interesting to see how the Dodgers shake out. But you know how they are. Kyle Tucker's starting to click. That offense is unbelievable. If guys like Kyle Tucker and Mookie Betts can click and Freddie Freeman can pick it up a little bit, they're going to be good. But I do think they're starting to get to the end of that unbelievable reign. I think a guy like Freddie Freeman is starting to age. Mookie Betts is starting to age. Teoscar Hernandez aging. These guys are going to start aging. And yes, they've got a lot of prospects, but they're about to trade them for a Tarek Skubal. So there is light at the end of the tunnel for the rest of us MLB fans. All right, next, Cleveland Guardians. I think they're probably a move away. Their pitching's good. Their offense is not good, which I thought their offense was going to be a strong suit there for a long time, but then J-Ram went down, and so did DeLauder, and they have struggled very, very badly. Let's see where they rank out here. Am I missing them somewhere? Missing them. Why can I not find them? Okay, 28th. I was like, they have to be towards the bottom. 682 OPS. And that's not great. Okay, so they have to make some moves, but with the AL being as weak as it is and their pitching being as good as it is, I do think that they can make a move. Let's see where they rank on WHIP here. It's probably going to be right around the 12 range. Let's see. At number 9. So they're good. They're a very good team. We're going to see just how good they can be without these guys. And so far, they've struggled. So I'm thinking they're a move away. They need to get healthy. But in the American League, I do think they're better than a team like Houston, because the pitching in Houston is not nearly as good as Cleveland. So I would take Cleveland in a series between those two. So that's how I'm judging that. But I would take the Blue Jays over Cleveland. So maybe Cleveland does deserve to move down. We'll leave them here for now, and we might have to go back and change it in a minute. So Seattle. I think Seattle, I know they haven't looked great, but I think they're a real threat. I could maybe see them come down to a move away. Let's look at some statistics here. Pitching wise, they're 5th in ERA, and they're going to be towards the top in WHIP. Yeah, they're 3rd in WHIP. So I think that is just telling right there that their pitching is not the problem. Their offense, on the other hand, all the way down at 24th in OPS. So maybe they are a move away on the offensive side of things. Where do they rank in the standings? Let's pull up the standings here. I think it's going to be an interesting look at it here when we see. Yeah, so they are in first place, but they're 41 and 39. See, the AL's weak. I think I have to move them back up to a real threat in the AL. I think their offense is going to click. I think they've got guys there that are good. Now, maybe a move for some power, just like the Brewers. I think they grade out very similar to the Brewers, is what I'm thinking here. So their offense is not great, but it's not going to hinder them as much because their pitching is so good. Whereas these teams have holes on both sides of the ball. So I think that's a good spot for them. We might change some things around. I might move Cleveland down, Seattle down, things like that. Miami. I made this tier for Miami. I don't think that they're a move away from contending for a World Series, but I do think that they're going to give good games throughout the year. So let's see where they are in the standings here. Miami is 3rd in the standings, and they are, 8 games back. So that's obviously pretty far back. I don't think they're going to compete for the NL East, whereas I do think the Phillies might overtake the Braves. But I do think that Miami, let's see how they rank out here. So this is hitting Miami is 19th in OPS. So it's not the bottom, but it's not the top either. A little bit below average. And then pitching wise, Miami's 12th. So that's keeping them in it pretty well. Let's see where they rank out with whip. I think it's going to be closer 10. So they went up a little bit. So they're just very mediocre. And I think their pitching is overperforming a little bit. So I do think they're going to be able to come out and have a good series versus one of these good teams up here. But I don't think they're necessarily on the same level as these good teams. The Mets, maybe next year. Man, I put a lot of money on the Mets to win that division. I had a big parlay where I had some other of these teams. I had the Dodgers winning their division, the Cubs winning their division, and the Mets winning their division. And we see how that is going. This is why we don't bet on sports, knowing that I'll do it again. But the Mets, their offensive struggles have been so insane to me. I don't understand it. How do you bring in all these offensive guys and you still rank 29th of 30th in OPS? I really don't understand it, but their pitching has not picked them up. I mean, their pitching's 13th in whip. Where are they in ERA? Their pitching has just right at 13th again. So their pitching's a little bit above average, but their offense is so bad that they just cannot win games. I think they're dead. I think it's over. Maybe next year you figure out what to do with these bad contracts you signed and move on from there. Washington, also another feisty team. You've got James Wood and CJ Abrams there. I like their outlook a little more than Houston, but or do I? Do I? Let's look at some stats here. Washington and Miami are right around the same. So wherever I put one, I have to put the other. That's what I'm thinking. Their hitting is third, tied for third place with the Athletics. That's pretty unreal. Their pitching is probably going to bring them down a lot. Yeah, 26th. So their hitting's doing the load. I don't think they're going to make this tier. I don't think they're a move away. Their offense is going to regress a little bit. It's just going to have to. You got a lot of guys overperforming from their expectations, and some guys that are playing to what we expected from them, like James Wood. You know, we knew he was going to be a superstar. CJ Abrams, we thought he could be a superstar, and he's really starting to click now. I think they're in this tier. I think if they do make a couple moves, I can see them coming up here and still being a move away. That's how I'm rating this here. I think their offense is going to regress a little bit, and in the National League that's just so good, it's going to be really tough for them to make a postseason spot here. All right, Oakland. I think Oakland's a move away. You can tell here, I just said that Washington and Oakland are very similar, but with the American League being so weak and Oakland's still fighting for that one seed or that one spot in their division. And if they can get that, they're 2.5 games back of Seattle. If they can get that, then of course they're going to be fine. But let's look where they are in the wild card race. They're right outside of it, so maybe I should move them. Oh, I don't know. I think Oakland's good. Let's look where they are on the stats category here. In the pitching department, Oakland is. I keep calling them Oakland. I'm sorry. I know they're not in Oakland anymore. The Athletics, they're 29 in ERA. That's really bad. And I think in WHIP they're going to be in the same boat. That's really bad. Their hitting has been third. So they're the same team as the Nationals. We're bringing them down. I think I'm going to put them above those two teams, though, because I do think that they, with some moves on the pitching end, I think they can come up into here. Same with Washington, but I have more faith in Oakland. I have more faith in the Athletics because it is a ballpark that is going to allow them to just hit homers and just have those crazy offensive numbers. I think Washington's due for some regression, whereas I think Oakland's finally starting to play to what they are. So next up, the Orioles. I think I'm going to go here for now, but I think they could go in here. Let's look at some stats here. Let's look where they are in the standings. Baltimore, yeah, they're 2 games back, but all of these teams are. Like, they're all close, so I can see them fitting all in that one feisty tier. I think Baltimore is just, man, they, where are they on here? They're right in the middle of the pack offensively, which is crazy because they've got guys like Pete Alonso, Gunnar Henderson, Taylor Ward. These guys have to click at some point, and that's going to bring them up. However, their pitching is suspect. I don't think they have the guys on the pitching staff to do it. If they go out and they trade for a guy like Tarek Skubal, I don't see that happening. But if they did, they would shoot right back up into this tier here. I think I have to put them in here. I don't think they're on the same level as the Mets. I think they're a good team. Let's put them right there. Um, I don't mind them right there for sure. Next up, San Diego. I think San Diego is probably a move away in the pitching staff department. Let's look where they are in the standings here. They're out of the wild card spot right now, but they're tied with the Cubs, so not really. Um, I think San Diego's good, man. That offense is so good, and I know that they're tied with Miami, but there's a difference in a guy like Manny Machado and a guy like Kyle Stowers to carry a team. I think Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., those guys, I think that they can bring them up. I mean, their offense has struggled all year. Their pitching's been good. At some point, they are going to have to meet that middle. I mean, San Diego is the worst team in team OPS. I really think that they're going to have to meet it in the middle a little bit and a couple moves, move away. Man, I might have talked myself into the feisty tier. Man, I don't know. I think they're a move away. I think their offense is going to click. I think Miami's playing above expectations. San Diego's playing below expectations, and they're still right around the same. I think their offense is going to click. See, I can't put Oakland up here, or I can't put the Athletics up here because the ballpark hinders them from being able to have those pitchers that can just come in and be that good. I can see myself moving them up though. So we'll get back to Oakland or the Athletics. And we'll leave San Diego right there. I'm thinking I like that for now. Philly's a real threat, and I think they're the top of the real threat category. They've got the sluggers on offense. Their pitching staff is finally getting good. Let's look at where they are in the standings. I just told you I think that they can overpass or overtake the Braves in the division. Let's look where they are statistically. Hitting wise, they are where? 23rd. So wow, that's lower than I thought. And a guy like Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper and Brandon Marsh even are playing very well. I think they need another bat. I would like another bat for them and maybe some bullpen help could be very good. You know, they're right in the middle of the pack there. But I know that these numbers are being brought down by how slow of a start they had. I think Philly's really good. I am going to move them. No, I'm going to keep them here. Um, I think that's a very real spot for them. I think they're going to end up here, just like I think the rest of these teams could end up in these spots. Other than these two, they're already there. Same with these two. All right, Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is a move away, but I don't know if I'm ready to put them on that tier. So I'm going to set them there for now, and let's look at the standings. They've fallen down below 500 now. They're 2.5 games back of a wild card spot. I think they're lower than what I was thinking. Where are they in the division? They're fourth now. Let's actually move them down to a feisty team and let's move them below Baltimore. I think they're good. I really do. I think their pitching staff's brought them up quite a bit. Let's see. Where do they rank in ERA? You guys are probably seeing it right here, 16th. So right in the middle of the pack. And that's with a guy like Paul Skeens, pulling them up a lot. They need some bullpen arms bad. With bullpen, they can help a lot. I can see them being a team to go out and get a guy like Aroldis Chapman. They've got the guys for it. Go get him. I would love to see that. So they are probably a move away, but I don't know if I'm ready to put them in that category yet. And hitting wise, they've been good, but they've not been great. So where are they? Where am I? Okay, they're fifth. So they have been great. Okay, in OPS, they're fifth. Their hitting is good. They need bullpen arms. For that reason, their hitting is playing very well. I think I'm doing that. I think I've decided on that move there. And by a move away, I mean these teams are a move away from being in here. I don't think they're a move away from being in here. I think that's what these teams are. So we'll probably go through and reshuffle them at the end, but for now, I think that's a good spot for them. The Rangers. I think they're a feisty team, but I think they're towards the bottom of it. You know, they've got a guy like Corey Seager. Wyatt Langford's good, and he's back. They could easily start slowly moving their way up because the AL is so weak. Let's see where they rank on things. The Rangers are 22nd in OPS, so that's not great. And their pitching staff is 11th. So their pitching's been fine. I think with some moves they can do it. But at the end of the day, there's only so many moves you can make. You know, they're the same as the Athletics, so I might just have to pull the A's down. I'm really struggling with the A's. I think their offense is so good. Their offense is very good, but their pitching is bottom of the barrel. We'll reorder these tiers at the end. I think I'm going to keep the A's there. I can even see myself moving the Padres down. But no, Padres are fine right there. I like the Padres there. We're going to do this, even though I definitely think these two teams are very close. So we'll see. I think the A's are closer to the Padres than they are the Pirates. So we'll see how it shapes out. The Rays, I think the Rays are a top of the feisty tier. I think they're finally starting to regress and come back to normal. I mean, they're a good team. They're 43 and 33. They had a really good start. I do think they're going to balance out closer to the Blue Jays. I just think that they're just very top heavy on offense. You know, Caminero, Aranda, Yandy Diaz, those guys, they're very top heavy. Let's see where they rank in offense. So 18th in OPS, and that's definitely brought up by those guys. And pitching wise, they're 10th. So I do think this is a good spot for them. You know, they're going to give your team a good series. And with the state of the AL, they can move into this category here. But I do think the Blue Jays are going to overtake them in the standings. But they're not right now. And as much as I can go off of gut feeling, this is tough, guys. I recommend you guys do this for yourself. I think I have to move the Rays into a move away. If they did go get some offense, I don't think they're going to. But this is, as of right now, I do think they're in here. You know, they were first in the AL East for a while. I do think they're in there. And I think the Cubs are better than both of those teams. But I don't know if they are just yet. This is tough, man. This is a tough list. The Red Sox is another maybe next year. I do think they're better than the Mets. I think the Red Sox are... They're not going to compete this year, of course. Next year, with some moves, I think they can. I just think their offensive core is so young, and it's tough to win with a young team like that. So I do think they need some help. You know, you put a lot on those guys like Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony to come in and take over your franchise. That's tough. That really is, especially with all the stuff with firing a manager 2 months into a season. I think that's also kind of a crazy deal. I think Craig Breslow is kind of an idiot. So as much as I love to see Boston towards the bottom because I am a Yankees fan, I do think that they are going to need some more help this offseason. The Reds are another feisty team. You know, they just took a series from my Yankees. Where do they end up here? Like I said, I'm going to come through and I'm going to reorder this later. The Reds are a feisty team. They're good. They're not great. They need some moves, but I don't think any moves are going to pull them up into this category. So I think they're pretty middle of the pack. They're fine. They're going to be fine. We'll see how it turns out with them. They're bottom of their division, but the Pirates are trying to beat them for it. So we'll see. Let's see where they rank on things. Just to look. 23rd in pitching and ERA. And in offense, 25th. So, yeah, they're towards the bottom. I do think that we might have to make another tier in between, but I don't know what I would really call it. So, we'll think about that one. Colorado, maybe next decade. Rebuild. I don't know what you're going to do in that ballpark because you're never going to get pitchers that are going to be that good. I don't know how you fix that. Same with the A's right now. I'm not really sure how you go about changing that and making it better. But anyway, next the Royals. Maybe next year. I mean, I can see them being in this tier. Let's see where they rank on things. In OPS, they are, let's see, 17th. And in ERA, they are 24th. So, yeah, they just need help across the board. I don't think they're close this year. They should be. They've got one of the best players in the league, top three for sure. And here they are at the bottom of the worst division in the league. So it's tough. It really is. They need to maybe I can even see them coming down here. What's the records looking like here? 34 and 46, and the Angels are only 33, 48. They have the same record as the Mets. Rockies and Giants are both lower. I think they're fine where they are. Probably below the Mets too. I think the Mets have, yeah, they're probably fine right there. I don't think that they're gonna compete next year. They need a lot of work done, but you never know. The Giants are another team. Honestly, I think the Giants go down here. I think, I think it's rebuild time in San Francisco. It's not worked. We need to tear it down and build it back up. Something's got to change. A guy like Rafi Devers is obviously a clubhouse cancer. He's just not helping. He's hurting more than anything, and I think at some point he's got to go. I don't know who you're going to get to take that contract, but at some point he's got to go. Matt Chapman sucks because Matt Chapman is such a lovable player. I do think he's struggled there more than anybody would have thought. Um, Specifically this year, he's been very good in the past, and he's going to stay at that good level because his defense is so good. But it's hard for a guy like Matt Chapman, and then you got Willie Adames there as well, who struggled. I just think the Giants need to tear it down and figure it out. You've got guys you can get some value for, like Willie Adames and Logan Webb, and Robbie Ray is going to be a free agent. You need to figure this stuff out. I think we're going to see a big fire sale from San Francisco. The Cardinals are such an interesting one because if you look at them in the standings, they're second in what has probably been the best division in baseball this year, if not the second best behind the NL East. I they're tough. They're a tough one to rank because in my head I know the Cardinals can't sustain this, but why not? Why can't these guys just click? Jordan Walker and JJ Weatherholt. Why can't they just be that good and fight for a wild card spot and make it in? Why not? I mean, they're 12th in offense, and in pitching, they're 17th. If they go get some guys, the way that they're playing, man, I think you have to put them in a move away. I think they're better than San Diego right now, but I don't think I can logically put them over it. I will do that though. I think Cleveland is below them. That's why I'm thinking Cleveland might have to move down here. But I don't know. I think that's the Cardinals are such an interesting team because everyone thought they were going to be down in this maybe next decade tier, but they're not. They're just playing good ball. Dustin May's been good. Like I just said, Jordan Walker should be an all-star. JJ Weatherholt should be an all-star. Like these guys are good. And it's been fun to watch. Detroit. I think Detroit is a maybe next year team, but I can't put them down here. They just went to the AL. Did they go to they went to the DS and they lost. So I think they're good. I don't know that they're not going to compete this year, and they're going to trade Scooble. They're probably going to trade Casey Mize, and they're probably going to trade Jack Flaherty. Gleyber Torres is probably gone. I think they're going to fire sell, but I do think that they can rebuild for next year and still be good. So we'll see. Detroit could maybe end up, I think they're above these teams. I do think there is some hope because that division is so terrible, but not much. Minnesota, another surprising team. I think they're feisty. I think they can fight in each game, and they can make it an interesting game, and an interesting series for a team that's good. So I think it's a cool a cool story in Minnesota with a guy like Byron Buxton who's like, I'm not leaving. No matter what's going on, I'm not leaving. I want to stay here. I want to be that statue guy. I want to embody the Minnesota Twins, and I want to be here through the rebuild. I think that's a really, really cool thing for a player to do. Mike Trout tried to do the same thing, and the Angels never built around him, so let's hope the Twins do build around him. They do have more pieces than the Angels with Joe Ryan and guys like that, but we'll see. I think they're going to end up trading some guys off. It's going to be more of a retool than a full rebuild. Um, and I don't think that they're in this tier of maybe next year. I do think that they're just a team that's going to go out and fight, kind of like the Reds or Baltimore. Chicago's probably move away, but I also can see them in this feisty tier. It's another thing like the Cardinals. I don't think that they're that good. Their offense is that good. Let's look at the standings here. Their offense has been that good, and that's why they're in the spot they are. But their pitching has also been so good. Like, let's see where they rank out. They're ranked 20th now. But man, it's tough to count them out in a division like that. I think they're if they can go out, get some pitching, get another bat or two, I think they could be a real threat in the AL. And then lastly, my team, the Yankees. It's going to seem surely it's not that crazy to put them up there. I do think that more than these two teams, we do have some struggles in our bullpen, but I also think that our offense is so good and our rotation is so good that we can make it to the World Series with a weak AL. I think it's going to be fine. Now, let's go through and make sure we've got everybody where we want them. I definitely like this last row. I think these are the three worst teams in baseball. Yes, the Angels probably have a better record, but that's just because the AL is so bad that they can beat up on them a little bit. I think these are the three worst teams in baseball. Then you come here. I think the Royals are bad. Mets are next. Mets might go there actually. I think they are. All these teams fit right there. Now, this is the tough one because do we want to make another tier? You've got Arizona, who's good. Arizona's good, but they're not great. Like they're just gonna come out and be feisty like the rest of these teams. But I want to say Houston's probably up here with the A's. And I think Pittsburgh's right around there. I think all these teams need some work, but I don't know if they can get the help that they need. I'm going to do another tier here. What did I do? What am I doing? Okay, there we go. I was like, I have no idea how that just worked. Let's add a row below. Oh, that's above. What am I doing here? Let's delete that one. Add a row below. All right. Let's do this. Fun series. Potential. That's where I think you move in guys like this. I think these guys all deserve to be in there. Whereas these guys can fight for a wild card spot. I don't see any of these teams fighting for that wild card spot. And then feisty slash potential. Let's just do wild card question mark. No, that doesn't look right. Let's just do wild card question mark. All right. I like this a lot more, actually. Fun series potential here. Minnesota's good. Arizona's good. These teams are going to be able to fight. Now, do I have them in the correct order? No. I think Baltimore is probably there with Texas. I like that order a lot more. And then in this one, I think I like the Nationals more than I like the Marlins just because of James Wood. And I do like these teams being there, and I do think Cleveland comes down in here. But Cleveland, man, Cleveland's such a weird team. I think I like them more there. I don't think they're as good as these two, and I think without the Lauder and without J-Ram, I think we're going to see them slide a little bit. But I don't think they can come all the way down into these tiers. I think they're probably going to slide into here. Chicago's probably going to win that division, which is crazy. Who would have thought that? Now, this could all change. It's all subject to change. I kind of like this tier here, but I think the Blue Jays have to go below the Rays just for the way they've played so far. I think the Cardinals and the White Sox need to go there, even though my gut tells me they're going to fall towards the bottom. And I think I like the White Sox more than I like the Cardinals. Yeah, I think that's the tier list. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I do think that's the tier list. Let me know what you guys think, where you would put some people, what tiers you would move around and change, and um, what do you guys think about the trade deadline? Who do you think is going to be moved? Who do you think is going to go where? Just let me know everything in the comments. Let me know if you guys want to see any more tier lists like this. I can do players. I can do players on specific teams. Whatever you guys want to think. Yeah, just let me know. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.